Hello and welcome back to the Weekend Spread. I'm Bobby Howard. With me today, we've got Jameson, Ty, and the captain himself, Boatin Blake. And we're here to pick the first week of bowl games, 1 through 9. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Incredibly excited to get started. And look, we're going to recap the Weekend Spread, all of that stuff. But I got to let y'all know, you need to sign up for Bowl Mania. Because this year we're doing something a little crazy. We're giving away $150. Free entry. That's just how it is. Second place gets 50, first place gets 100. Pretty good stuff. And all you have to do is sign up below in the link with the code MLADY. MLADY. And obviously subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you're not getting any money. I'm sorry.
You got to do it by Saturday too, before the game starts.
Don't miss out on this if you're a Schooner Pod listener. You want to do it, then no weirdness. No terms. Just subscribe to the podcast. Don't even have to be a new subscriber. Just hop on in. I will say though, unlike previous years, if I win, I'm keeping the money. So that's just how it is. So, yeah, but.
Everyone put a target on Bobby's back. We must beat him.
I kicked everybody's ass last year and still had to pay someone, so it sucked. But yeah, no. Again, that's code MLADY. That's the password. Subscribe. Head there for your chance to take all of us on. If you've been watching this show all year long and thought, you know what, these are some ball not knowers. I could kick their ass in a pick contest. This is your chance. This is your chance to prove that you know more ball than me, Ty, Blake, and Jameson. We like to see you try.
Did somebody say "milady"?
Oh, look at that!
Oh my God! Speaking of Blake, the champion of the Weekend Spread once again.
Welcome back, Jameson. Ball not knower Jameson fled the podcast last week because he's too afraid to take the heat. And we gotta tell the listeners, little boy Jameson had a chance to take me out on the Weekend Spread pick'em. Okay. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get that last game across the line. Couldn't do it. And then this week he had his redemption shot to cast me to a punishment and a fantasy football league. He is the best team, the self-proclaimed best team in the league. He loses it. He loses it against the lowly last place. Big TDs or die. Oh my God. Oh my God. It is tough to be Jameson coming on this pod. Maybe third time's the charm, Jameson? You finally gonna put me away this time, or?
I've put you away every single time we've had a bowl pick'em. You've had a miserable record with bowl pick'ems, so this should be easy.
Okay. I'm sorry. So for the podcast listeners who don't understand what's going on visually, Blake is currently wearing what we have now decided is the new trophy for the Weekend Spread champion, the golden fedora. He is wearing a golden fedora very proudly, looking like Joe Castiglione here in the corner. It's incredible. We knew it was coming, but wow, what a choice in fedora there, Blake. Good work there, buddy.
Gotta start at the traveling trophy, and then we gotta get some extras just so you can how they give the team a Super Bowl trophy to keep in the clubhouse, and then one that travels around. We need to get multiple fedoras, which
just like
you
a
could buy.
Rack, yeah.
You can also buy one if you win the $150 from the Bowl Pick'em Championship. The best thing you could do, you could buy one nice gold fedora. You could maybe even get some custom gold leaf in it.
I ain't hanging up some consolation banner the Lakers are doing right now.
We need to pick a different hat for the bowl hat. It needs to be a bowl.
We don't need another hat.
We don't need a hat.
Speaking of,
we'll come up with
Ty, go ahead.
Speaking of, noted Lakers in-season tournament banner hater Blake is currently celebrating being the regular season champion, whatever that means, because we've somehow all made it to the postseason, because that's the way the Schooner Pod works. So the true champion will be crowned in the postseason, which is how that works. And I would like to say, yes, I finished last this year, but I first proposed this the year that I won. I said, no, the postseason should be included as well. But people like Blake, right, they don't include the postseason. So TCU fans not including the postseason.
I don't
is
know how
that?
much of this. I don't know how much of this could be postseason. Like, yes, literally, it is post the season, but yeah, there are so many opt-outs. There are so many people not playing in these
Oh my
games.
goodness.
It is shells of
Oh
shell
my.
teams. These are ultimate. That's why the Bull Pick'em. That's why Jameson. It's the Ball Not Nowhere Championship. It is the in-season tournament of it is the in-season tournament of college football. Like, the Indiana Pacers could make a run to the finals and have a chance at it. Like, sure, in a 2-week span they can put together a nice little resume, get some easy wins, but the weekend spread competition, that's 13 weeks of you having to go day in, day out, really grind it out. It's not meant for the weak little boys like Jameson. So he likes that little 2-week run. He can get hot for 2 weeks, just can't sustain the success like us.
Oh,
Wow.
good.
That's a shot right there.
I can't respond to it. I did get beat by Blake multiple times. So I'll take it.
It is.
In terms of being a ball not knower, we all know that Blake's the true ball not knower. But I did get beat.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. Blake, who'd you like in the Heisman?
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Jim, Blake's a ball not knower. Blake's a ball not knower.
I didn't like anybody. I wish some years you could give out double Heismans, whenever you have a Christian McCaffrey or an Andrew Luck there. This was saved from one year where it was so bad. It's like an RG3 Heisman. It's sure, he was great. They lost 4 games, but it's fine. It's fine. Lamar Jackson, same thing.
Those two were much better than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
a
lot better too. And at least exciting to watch. Those two at least made me turn on the TV and want to watch. I don't think without gambling on the game or having any pick related to it for weekend spread, I wasn't tuning into LSU games to watch Daniels play.
I've never been he's must see TV. It's just he's just kind of there. You put up numbers, it's whatever.
And they score quickly. It was very obvious that they had one goal and it was putting up points and trying to get him stats.
Yeah, he's forever going to be oh wait, really? Type of Heisman. But anyways, all right. Before we get on to the games, Ty, you are last. You finished last this year, unfortunately. So you're subjected to the punishment. Blake, remind us again what that is, and do you potentially have it selected yet?
I do not have it selected yet. I'm actually going to crowdsource it a little bit. I would like to hear, because I know Jameson, although a ball not knower, a king of torture. So
and remind us all what the punishment is in the first place.
Yeah, so it is I get to is it a month? I don't know the duration.
Yes, it's a month.
That I get to pick out Ty's wake up song,
morning alarm song,
and he has to listen to it in its entirety.
Yeah,
this would be.
You can get up and pause it whenever you get up, but you gotta walk away if you're worried that your wife will be very angry in the morning, and have that as your morning routine.
See, Blake knows he's disappointed, right? Because he knows that there's not really anything that's gonna get to me. So it's kind of, it is a bit of a disappointment that it wasn't Bobby. We could hit him with, the Boomer Sooner or something, since he's I promise I wouldn't make that.
Oh, that would have been great.
But
it would have been a hilarious callback if I chose the 8-hour OU fight song that Ty has to listen to every morning.
It has to be the regular duration of the song.
We did. No, Blake.
Hey, if
you may not have been on that pod, but I did at one point say, can it be the 10-hour version of something? Because I was new for 30 days.
In my defense, the normal version versus the 10-hour version I had to listen to, there's way too much marimba and xylophone in the 10-hour version, which should constitute it as a new song. So that
the marimba is boosted for sure. All right,
let me help you out, Blake, because my goal, if I was going to do it for Bobby, I could still keep it similar, but I knew what would really get under Bobby is I was going to do, those things they used to do on the radio where they mesh all the songs into one super song.
Oh yes.
Yes. And you never know what's really going on. I was going to add Crazy Frog, Whopper, Natural, Imagine Dragons. I was going to add some really, really annoying sound bites intermittently through it. I was going to do that, and it was going to be very strategic, and I was going to get and put on my my little iMovie
Like
hat.
a nice little like DJ earworm remix,
Yes.
but without like any of the skill. Ooh, I
That's
might
just
have to get in
diabolical.
GarageBand and just see what I can whip up.
I was thinking it was like, you
diabolical.
know, it goes like Whopper, 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 bing, 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 Whopper, 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 bing, bing, bing.
Jameis would
bing.
end up just using that for his own personal use.
I would get up. Oh man, it'd be a great day every single morning.
How early do you wake up when you're not doing night shift, Jameson?
Every week's differently, but some like starting like next week, I'll be waking up at like 4:15, 4:30.
Okay, yeah, that. I don't know how Ashley would be able to do that. Listening to the Whopper song. All right, let's get on with the picks. We've been talking for 11 minutes about random BS that people probably don't know about. Let's get right to it. Because the people, they want to see some Myrtle Beach Bowl action. Ooh. It's the Ohio Bobcats and the Georgia Southern Eagles, I think. Ohio is 9-3, 6-6 against the spread. Georgia Southern 6-6, 5-6-1 against the spread. And little bit of a quirk here with this specific version. Because we're going Bowl Mania, we're going with the preset ESPN lines. These have shifted. In some cases, pretty drastically. So if you're looking at your local book or whatever, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? This has shifted dramatically. Yeah, ESPN set these a long time ago, and they haven't changed. Ohio was favored by 1.5. You can find this one Saturday, December 16th, 10 a.m. Central on ESPN. Yes. As people in Vegas, coming up in Vegas very soon, this is an 8 o'clock football game.
I love it.
Yeah. No better way to start bowl season. It's going to be delightful. Okay. So, Blake, as our champion, the wearer of the golden fedora, you kick us off here. Who do you like?
Yeah. So, saw the line movement, wanted to know why, did some quick research. Yeah. I love Ohio. Let's get this out there. I love Ohio. I love Curtis Rourke, a MAC legend. Should have beaten San Diego City at the beginning of the year if it wasn't for bummy targeting, going for his knees, trying to take him out. San Diego City knew that was the only way they would win that game. But basically, like, everybody is sitting for Ohio, so Curtis Rourke is in the transfer portal. CJ Harris, who was their backup for most of the season, he's also, I think, not playing, so they are going to their third string to play this game. And on top of that all, they're missing their, I think, top wide receiver, top running back, another wide receiver, some people in the defense. They're missing everybody. And I look at Georgia Southern, they're basically, like, I think it's one corner that's sitting this game out, and hasn't played for like half the weeks. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Georgia Southern. It's like they're a full team playing versus a shell of an Ohio team. It's sad. See, this is why I think bowls can sometimes be sad. You want to see these dream matchups, but the transfer portal just keeps gutting them. But give me the Eagles.
Yeah, and C.A. Bangura, my boy C.A. Bangura. In the portal, man, that Ohio offense decimated. Georgia Southern's been pitiful at the end of the year. Like, they started off like okay, you know, Clay Helton and crew. They've been pitiful this year. It's weird picking them. They're that bad that I could see Ohio's second unit going out and taking them down. But you just got to go with the numbers here. It's a 4-line difference with 3.5 from 1.5. You just got to go and pick the side of Georgia Southern.
I wasn't even muted there. I just kind of I got frozen there mentally. Yeah, this line is shifted from Ohio -1.5 to Georgia Southern -3.5. You gotta go with the line shift at this point. Not to be boring or generic, but you know, Helton's the type of guy who can get things going in the right way. Bowl games are a great spot for momentum, and if Ohio has everyone sitting, yeah, there you go. So we're going to go Georgia Southern +1.5.
Yeah, I have a little methodology for picking the bowl season because at this point it is a bit of a toss up when you're looking at the spreads, in my opinion. So, are we picking based off just who has a cooler mascot? Maybe, maybe not. Cannot confirm. I do have a question for you guys. What is worse than Myrtle Beach? I can't think of anything, which is why I'm asking.
I was gonna say the teal field at this game.
Oh man.
Well,
It's
that's
just
also
the
that's just part
weirdest
of Myrtle
thing.
Beach.
Ty, whenever I watch this game, it's the weirdest thing with my TV. I'm pretty sure it's broken.
Oh God.
That is true. As for some reason, I think they need to get new cameras or something because it's like you turn it on, it's just clearly messed up. I'll go to a different channel. The colors are fine. Turn this game on. Colors don't work. So really weird. But I also have Georgia Southern. Sounds like a railway company, but I have Georgia Southern over Ohio. I had that before everyone at Ohio opted out because if you know ball, you know fade Ohio.
There you go. There you go.
Ohio teams in the postseason in football fade them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, moving on to our next game. If you're watching this live, please ignore those stats are wrong. It's the Florida A&M Rattlers in the Celebration Bowl. They're facing the Howard Bison. FAMU favored by 350 here. You can find this one Saturday. That's Saturday. All of these are Saturday. What am I saying? 11 a.m. Central on ABC. Ty, who do you like?
Yeah, I like the one. I like the Bison more. It almost looks like sort of Bobby got himself some sort of alternate Thunder logo custom shirt. So I'm going to go with that on this one. Give me Howard. Battle of undefeateds here, arguably a national championship. If you ask Central Florida,
They're
another
not
Florida
both
school.
undefeated.
They're
That
not.
is
No.
botched grab.
No. No. Honestly,
I don't follow these teams, so.
Very
didn't
much.
show up. They did not show up on covers, which is what I used from all my historical data. So I just forgot to loop back and actually look at their record.
All right, well,
So whoops.
It's Howard
fine.
Bison.
I'm sure both of these teams are fine.
Give me a Howard plus 350.
So I've kind of started instituting a rule, and Jackson State obviously isn't in this because they don't have Dion anymore. But I always just pick the underdog in the Celebration Bowl. That's one thing, but also it's Howard. As Bobby Howard, I feel like I must pick Howard. So I'm riding with the Bison plus 3.5.
Oh, it's just made it so much easier for me. Fade Howards, all Howards. Give me Florida A&M.
Florida A&M looks like a wagon looking at their schedule. Their only losses to USF and only by 14, which is probably a win compared to Howard. Howard's been all over the board. Can't string together consistency. Give me, is it the Rattlers? The Rattlers?
I think they're the Rattlers.
Rattlers.
That logo, for some reason, for Florida A&M is just piquing my mind into like the FCS Southeast logo or something from NCAA 14. Where they just have random animals on the FCS teams in NCAA. There's just something in my brain that there's one little neuron that thinks that that's right. And I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
I'm pretty sure there was an FCS team that had a logo kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, FCS Southwest or something. But anyways. All right, moving on to our next one. It's the New Orleans Bowl. Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, 6-6 overall, 5-7 against the spread. They're taking on newcomer Jacksonville State. They got into this one due to a waiver, so shout out to the Gamecocks. They are 8-4, 8-3-1 against the spread. ULL favored by 3.5 here. You can find this one Saturday afternoon, 2:30 Central on ESPN. Blake, kick us off here. Who do you like?
Yeah, I know the line movement, don't understand it, but I think I gotta go Ragin' Cajuns. Solid squad, and I this is how I get bit in bowl season, is I buy into these hype, I buy into these storylines that Jacksonville State, first time in a bowl game, it's a big deal, it really means a lot to them, and they fall flat. I'm not going down like that. Give me the Ragin' Cajuns, that generic looking fast food restaurant logo.
I'm seeing Jacksonville State -3 on ESPN Bet, and I'm also seeing +1.5 on the bowl site right now. So I'm confused.
That can't be right, is it?
That's what I'm seeing right now. All I know is I'm picking Jacksonville State because you pick the teams that are mad that they didn't get in a bowl and they have something to prove.
They got into a bowl.
They're in a bowl.
Very much.
Yes.
They are in a bowl. They are playing
Yes.
in a bowl.
That is exactly what I said. They're mad. Oh, I guess I didn't say that correctly. They are mad that they had a chance to not go to a bowl, and now that they are here, they're mad that they were disrespected.
What?
I don't know. What I'm trying to say is the rule is stupid. The rule is stupid. They should be able to get into a bowl. They earned it.
But they're in a bowl.
Okay.
No,
they are in a
saying
bowl.
we don't like
They
the
should be
rule.
not
They're
mad
about
anymore.
the rule. They're mad about the rule, and now they
The rule
want to
didn't
prove
affect
themselves
them,
that
though,
they
because
did
they're in
get
The
the
rule
it.
didn't do anything.
What I'm
Okay, so
trying to
timeout real
say-
quick.
What I'm
This
trying
is-
to say, they just don't like the rule in general. They got tried to block, and then the cocks got in. There was no cock blocking. They got in.
This is
Okay, but
This is
I
like-
just want to say. Go ahead.
This is like me asking for $1 million and somebody saying no, and then I come back a few weeks later and ask for it, and they're like, no, but there's a technicality that gives you $1 million. Like, I reached the ultimate point that I wanted to be. It's just I had to go through like a little bit of a different process, but this makes no sense.
The way I communicated at first was confusing. That is absolutely correct. But I'm going to continue to say I'm picking Jacksonville
not
State.
confusing.
You're pulling
It
a
was
Bobby
just
right now,
wrong.
where he comes out with a confusing take and then just somehow cements himself in it.
I said it wrong, and I was going to pick Jacksonville State, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is kind of a confusing take there, Jameson.
It
Anyways,
makes sense in my head, and I don't really know what I'm thinking right now. So
okay. So by the way, we're gonna actually adhere to the Bowl Mania. Ignore that. It is going to be Louisiana -1.5 here. Does that change your pick for anyone?
Nope. I
Nope.
went Louisiana with the 3.5, so
I'm picking Jacksonville State +1.5.
Okay. And I'm also going Jacksonville State +1.5 because
Same
they
reason.
are an absolute wagon this season. They might
But have
not
4
look
losses
pretty.
against the best teams in their conference.
8-3-1 against the spread. It feels they for a very good period of time. Louisiana's 5-7. It's not like Jacksonville State has had these miraculous comebacks where they make covers. They do all this stuff. And I'm not gonna abandon them now in their time of need. Blake's been a hater on the Gamecocks since week 0, I believe. I'm pretty sure you faded them against UTEP. And
Yep.
look, the Cox found a way. I think they get one last time to get this figured out. Jacksonville State +1.5 is the play.
Once again, we've just split down the middle, split horizontally. If you're watching on YouTube, the ball knowers and the ball not knowers. Blake and I, obviously on top, we know ball. We know that you go with the Raging Cajuns. Blake mentioned it here a little bit, but just look at this branding. It's not good. It's not football team branding. If I look at that and I don't know what I'm looking at, I think that's a bag of chips or maybe a regional fast food chain. They need to change their branding, but I think they get this Gamecocks very confused branding. There's so much going on down there. I don't know what's going on. Give me the Raging Cajuns.
Okay, split
Potato
decision
chip.
there. Potato chip. Moving on to our next game, it's a Cure Bowl. App State 8-5, 6-1 against the spread versus Miami of Ohio, who are 11-2, 10-3 against the spread. Fresh off of a MAC championship, I believe. App State favored by 4.5 here. You can find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on ABC. Ty, who do you like?
Well, I don't like either of these teams, to be clear. I just make sure that I'm wording things correctly since Bobby asked me who I like. App State is not a state. I looked it up. I asked ChatGPT even. Not a state. We can't seem to figure out why it's called that. Miami of Ohio, more cringe though, as the kids would say. Give me Yosef in the Appalachian State. Pipe smokers. I'm not necessarily sure what their mascot is, but I like Yosef -4.5.
Mountaineers. Look, Miami of Ohio, I went on island for them last time out. And turned out that was the difference maker in saving my bacon and not finishing last. So, as much as I love Yosef, I can't turn my back on the Red Hawks after what they pulled off. I'm going to go Miami of Ohio +4.5 here. I don't know what's going on roster-wise. I don't know any of that. But I sometimes you just got to stick. Sometimes you just got to stick with the horse that brought you there. So we're going to Miami of Ohio plus 4.5.
Oh, that makes it easy for me. Give me Appalachian State. Bobby abandoning them. Easy peasy.
After they let you down
That's
last
fine.
time out.
They did
Okay.
let me down. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
But just because
that fumble on the kickoff return was that just took the dagger and just took it a little bit through my stomach.
Just because someone or something that you love lets you down doesn't mean you abandon them on the side of the road.
That's exactly right. That's why I picked Texas State this year.
In Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl, Bobby.
I know, when they need it most in the Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl. Blake, who do you like in the Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl?
This one is so easy. App State. Avion Smith, who is the starting quarterback for Miami in the MAC championship game, is sitting out. So they are going now to Henry Hessen, who has been described as has attempted 5 collegiate passes, is going to be under center for Miami of Ohio. And I know Appalachian State, they have some receivers, running backs, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like Appalachian State as a team just always has guys ready, loaded. They're a solid squad. Miami of Ohio on their 3rd string quarterback, and we have no idea. Like, I don't even think the 2nd string was all that good, let alone now down to the 3rd string. So a guy who has thrown 5 collegiate passes probably this year versus their like FCS bum team, that is probably it. So I'm not backing that. I don't want that disgustingness. So give me App State.
That just means they don't got no tape on them, Blake.
No tape.
You never know.
I do agree on that. AR-15, no tape. No tape. Malik Murphy, no tape. Actually, there's some tape this year, but still no tape. We still haven't.
There was no tape for a while.
There was no tape for a while. We almost got there. I'm sad that I'll never get to see Malik Murphy get drafted in like the 2nd or 3rd round, not having played a college football game just because of the potential and his spring game highlights. I wanted that so bad. That got robbed from me by Quinn Ewer's bum body that's always getting injured, so never forgive him
That's such
for that.
a weird hypothetical to be upset about. But
I saw it in the stars. I saw what happened with AR-15. I'm like, he's no AR-15, but he could get a 2nd or 3rd round look.
But why did you think about that more than like 5 seconds? Like,
I know, it's just I was obsessed with it. I can't get it out of my head.
Okay.
So
let's move on to our next game. It's a New Mexico Bowl. I don't know how to pronounce the sponsor. Fresno State 8-4 overall, 4-8 against the spread. They're taking on the hometown squad, the New Mexico State Aggies, 10-4, 10-3-1 against the spread. Aggies favored by 2.5. You can find this one 5:45 Central on ESPN. Blake, who do you like here? A tough loss to Liberty. That game was actually a lot closer than I feel like the score indicated. But I don't know. Who you feeling?
2 words: Diego Pavia. We still back the boy. You were right, Bobby. It was a lot closer, and it's all because of this man, and he's expected to play in this game. There's no way in his home state, in Albuquerque, that I am fading that man, Mr. New Mexico himself. And also, I saw that Jeff Tedford for Fresno State stepping away for health concerns, which is sad. I've gotten bamboozled by this. I remember one of the biggest bets I've ever placed was on San Jose State to win their bowl game because it was the Nick Starkel year when they were magnificent. They were incredible. And like their coach, like 5 minutes before the game, just like had to step away due to some health reasons or something else. It was a blowout. It was a massacre. I've never gotten massacred in the streets more in my life. I stay away from storylines like that. I stay away. Bad juju. So give me Diego Pavia, our guy, New Mexico State.
Yeah, it's Diego. And the thing is, like, I like this Fresno team. I love Diego more. I've been a Diego believer for a while now. And Fresno State just lost to San Diego State, Blake. That wasn't a very pretty game. Fresno State's really, really fallen off these past couple weeks. Give me New Mexico State. They've got something to fight for.
Yeah, Fresno, at one point, I said they were losing, or they looked bad, but they were winning games regardless. That fell out the window. So how could I go against Diego Pavia at home? The storyline's there, the vibes are there, and the crowd will be there, which tends to probably not happen in the New Mexico Bowl. So, yeah, Aggies -2.5 is the play.
Yeah, one thing to know about this New Mexico State team is they have these like super, super cool pregame like ponchos that they wear on certain games, like before the games when they're coming in. When they wear them, they always get embarrassed. It's like it does not matter who they are playing. They did it against UMass, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at these ponchos!" And then they got embarrassed by UMass. So I am concerned. One, in that New Mexico State has apparently played significantly more games than Fresno State. That's odd, but can't trust our graphics. But I don't know. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that New Mexico State is going to wear those ponchos and then just really, really get embarrassed. I have to. I don't want to do this. Again, I don't like either team, but I have to go with Fresno State. I cannot support a school whose entire branding idea is literally copying Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. That is like, if you're going to go about stealing like branding ideas, then the world is your oyster. Actually, maybe an actual oyster would have been better. Like, you could have stolen anyone's stuff and you said, no, I want it to be specifically Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. That's absurd. I cannot support that under any circumstances. Give me the Bulldogs.
Okay. Wow. Well, yeah. And I mean, there is a old version of their logo that's literally just, maroon Pistol Pete.
Yep.
So, yeah.
This is true. They pay royalties each year to Oklahoma State.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Which is insane.
Agreed.
Because I thought for a second they were part of the initial lawsuit with Wyoming, and then I'm like, nope, they came like 20 years after. They came 20 years after that lawsuit and decided they just wanted in on the action.
The best is the alternative version where he has a lasso and they just call him Lasso Larry. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to our next one. It's the LA Bowl, no longer presented by Jimmy Kimmel. This time it's by Gronk. For some reason. Maybe he's going to try to, I don't know, get into USSAA the whole time, try to defraud the government a little bit. Anyway, stolen valor, all that. Anyways, it's Boise State, 8-5, 7-5-1 against the spread. The Mountain West champ against UCLA, the hometown team, 7-5, 5-7 against the spread. Bruins favored by 2.5 here. You can find this one on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC. Ty, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, the ESPN is saying this is the Starco Brands LA Bowl. Again, we're a very serious media outlet here, so I'm not going to say anything about Starco Brands, but I'm doing some research on them. That might be a company that you might find in the news at a later date, obviously for good things, perhaps. On this one, though, I have to go with UCLA. I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, he's finally going to have his breakout game, like 12th year in college football. Maybe they've replaced him with someone else, but I like Chip Kelly. Next year is your year, man. It worked for Harbaugh. Harbaugh stuck it out for like 20 years almost at Michigan before he became good. You got this, Chip. We believe in you. Look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys did it too. They just, next year is our year. Eventually that hit. Give me UCLA.
Yeah, this is tricky because I love the vibes with Boise overall, with Spencer Danielson getting hired. Young guy, seemed like he's a really good guy in the locker room. Took over as the interim when Boise fired their coach. Obviously had enough momentum to get a massive, massive win to win the Mountain West against the incredibly fraudulent UNLV, by the way. Got blown out at home.
We finally got to see Taylon Green's potential, and that's what's so hard about this is, on one hand, I was preaching the rise of the desert, and that is still true, but on the other hand, I said Taylon Green was the Mountain West version of Vince Young. Hadn't showed it most of the season, but he finally decided to make my take correct when I needed him to do it less. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
the first time I got to pick the Rebels, and they let me down in just dramatic fashion. So I don't know. We'll get to them later in bowl picks week 2, but that's the biggest thing. Taylor Green not in this one. He's hit the portal, sitting this one out. Is that going to be enough? You know what? The Mountain West team in these situations always overperforms in this specific game. I think it used to be the Las Vegas Bowl, back in the early version of the Vegas Bowl before it's become, gotten a rise in stature. And I feel like those Mountain West teams always gave these teams hell. UCLA, I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know if they have any motivation for this. The line is trending towards the Bruins. I'm going to pivot, though. I'm going to go Boise plus 2.5 here with their head coach. He'll find enough to, galvanize this team, get a big win. They'll be fired up. So we're going to go with the Broncos on this one.
This is pretty simple. And Blake can kind of follow me on here. Both teams are losing their quarterbacks here. Taylor Green, that's a big loss for Boise State. As Blake said, the next Vince Young, and the way that he performed last week was very admirable. On the other side of things, UCLA losing Dante Moore, that's two negatives, make a positive. Mike, that's going to help.
I knew it. I knew it was going.
Give me UCLA and say thank you for Dante Moore getting out the door.
This is, Jameson prefaced it so perfectly. This is a gross game. It's like Boise State doesn't have the opt-outs, but they have the key one. They have Taylor Green going into the transfer portal. Jesus Christ, UCLA's Bruins, transfer portal, opt-outs, injuries, it's like a mile long of this list. Everybody is trying to lead that program. They lost their defensive coordinator to a crosstown rival to take the same job. Is Chip Kelly gone? I felt like they were gonna fire him, but then saved it by beating USC, but they haven't USC. Fired him because the coaching carousel is done. Or sorry, was it Utah? They beat one of the big Mountain West teams.
No, they beat USC.
They beat USC as well.
They beat USC. Yeah.
So Lincoln Riley's coaching tree should include Mike Gundy and Chip Kelly and other coaches that he's helped secure contracts for.
Graham Harrell.
I remember going into that week before the USC game, they were like, he's done, he's gone, he's for sure, everybody's on the same page, and then he beats USC, and then we haven't heard a peep. It's obviously you waited way too late to fire him, so he's gonna be there. So this brings me to the crux of it, and Boise State does not have their backup quarterback. They are relying either on a true freshman or a walk-on. So that's who we have going.
It's a true freshman. CJ Tiller.
Tiller. But I gotta go with Bobby here. I gotta go with Boise State. Rise up, Mountain West. Where's my little helmet? There he is. Boise State, gotta support my Mountain West brethren. So I will take the bad line, the points, and no Taylor Green. But I just feel like this UCLA team's a dumpster fire.
Fair. All right, moving on to the only game on the slate with 2 Power 5 teams. It's the Independence Bowl. The Texas Tech Red Raiders, 6-6, 5-7 against the spread. They're taking on the Cal, 6-6 overall and against the spread. This one going down in Shreveport, Louisiana. Tech favored by 2.5. You can find this one Saturday, 8:15 Central on ESPN. Blake, who do you like?
Oh, this is a hard one. Rubber meets the road. Screw it. Screw Tech. They ain't gonna win this one. Give me Cal. Cal has been surprisingly, honestly punching above their weight this entire year, and I'm very, very impressed. They just seem to figure, they've played, I think, 3 or 4 quarterbacks this year, or 3 quarterbacks, and this Mendoza kid, he really gets it. I would just love to see Tech lose to Cal. I would just love it. The only thing I'm worried about is Tyler Shuck, the cancer, away from that program, going on to somewhere else. That scares me a little bit, but Bear Morton doesn't scare me either, so I think I gotta go weird. Take the points here. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Blake. Do you know the starting quarterback for this game for Texas Tech?
I think Bear Morton is gonna start. I saw Joey McGuire said he's gonna be close to 100%.
Easy. Thank you. Baron Morton.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
easy. Slam. Texas Tech.
Nope.
Yeah, no, Texas Tech plays really good in bowls, I feel like.
They do, because I slammed Ole Miss last year and just like totally screwed me. Screwed me.
We've slammed we've slammed Ole Miss in the past. That failed. Slammed Mississippi State in the past. That failed. Slammed it just never works. I don't know what it is about the Red Raiders, but they show up for these damn things. Cal, do you think they're gonna have any interest in going to Shreveport? Probably not. Tech though, I don't know. It's a trash place, it's gonna feel just like home. It's gonna feel just like home. So yeah, let's go with the Red Raiders to get a bowl win here. That's just kind of what they do. They get big bowl wins.
No. We will not stand for this. Shout out to Cal Berkeley. We are full on with Cal here. From the people who brought you notable football inventions such as vitamin E, Intel, the atomic bomb, the hydrogen bomb, all sorts of other interesting things that Cal discovered the covalent bond. Like Cal has on-campus parking, like multiple spots for Nobel Prize winners. These are things that Texas Tech can't even conceptualize, right? You guys got to understand, in 3 or 4 years from now, Texas Tech is going to discover like crypto. And
Texas
then a couple
Tech
years
saved
after
Champagne.
That. No, that was a lie.
No. Remember,
that guy
told me
A&M. They told me that in Champaign that it was Texas Tech when actually it was Texas A&M.
It's very obviously, yeah. If you really thought about that story for a second, you would have been like, that sounds more like an A&M thing, an agriculture thing.
But I guess they're telling people that it's Texas Tech.
Yeah, and why would Lubbock be the proper climate to grow champagne? I don't know. Regardless, it was a funny, dumb story. Anyways, Ty.
Yeah, so like Tech has not contributed. The only thing that Tech has ever done is give the world a nice little 4 to 8 year reprieve from Tech like students when they go to Lubbock and sort of contain themselves in that little area of quarantined away from everyone. Shout out to Cal who invented the flu vaccine. So give me Cal Berkeley. Yeah, I think an actual notable Cal alumni, Aaron Rodgers, I think was part of that. But give me Cal.
Moving on. We got our next game. I'm so excited. Look, we've talked about silly bowl game names in the past. I love this one. It's the famous Toastery Bowl. R.I.P. to the Bahamas Bowl, but we got the famous. This is the biggest downgrade of all time. You go from Bahamas to Charlotte, North Carolina. Not even playing like at a big stadium. No. You're playing at like the Charlotte 49ers stadium, hanging out with Biff Poggi. And you're
renamed it? They renamed it? Like, I thought it was going to be like whenever like COVID happened and they had the Maui Invitational and they just moved it to Asheville, North Carolina and still called it the Maui Invitational even though it wasn't there. I thought they would still keep the Bahamas Bowl.
No, it's just the famous Toastery Bowl.
Damn it.
Well, there was a year where the Bahamas Bowl was sponsored by just like a town in Illinois. So like, you never know with that bowl. But famous Toastery Bowl. I don't know what a famous toastery is. I don't want to know. But it contains...
Yeah, Bobby, this sounds very up your alley, dude. Famous toastery, breakfast and lunch all at once.
Okay, I could be about that.
Or breakfast, brunch, lunch all at once, as they're saying.
Okay.
Sounds
I'm about that. It's the Old Dominion Monarchs, 6-6, 7-5 against the spread. Taking on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, 7-5, 5-7 against the spread. Hilltoppers favored by 350. You can find this one Monday, December 18th at 1:30 p.m. Central on ESPN. Ty, who do you like?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I don't like. Western Kentucky. That thing makes me uncomfortable. I think it is vaguely, it's not in the same genus and obviously species as the Cox Digi mascot, but it's definitely evolutionarily related to that. I'm going to have to go with Old Dominion. I like Old Dominion. They have a really cool, like, campus corner-esque area, and they have the best Dunkin' Donuts in the world, potentially out of the 3 to 4 that I've ever tried, is the on-campus one at Old Dominion. So give me the Monarchs plus 3.5, plus Tree in this one.
This line has shifted pretty severely, I will say. Old Dominion is favored now. And so that's probably a good pick, Ty. But when I see Toppy...
I like that. I like getting plus 3.5 on the favored team.
When I see the toppers, when I see Toppy, I got to go with Toppy. I don't know what's going on with Western Kentucky right now, but out of principle, I got to ride with them. Western Kentucky minus 3.5 is the play. Give me that Toppy.
So looking at more to this famous toastery and this brunch restaurant, it seems like it's just mainly in North Carolina, a little bit South Carolina, and then Virginia. So
it's not all that famous.
It is not very famous. Are there any in Western Kentucky? No.
I've lived in all 3 of those states, and I've never once heard of this place.
Well, I'm looking it up currently, and there are no famous toasteries in Kentucky, but there are some in Virginia. Give me Old Dominion, baby.
Jameson, I need you to report live from a famous toastery so we can
get the
report.
There's one about 15 minutes away from me.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. You can have...
There's not too many around in Virginia, and there just happens to be one, like the only one in Northern Virginia. It's not too far.
There you go. You can have breakfast, brunch, lunch all at once.
That's exactly right.
I don't know.
I'm going to read the reviews while y'all pick.
Okay. I'm a Toppy guy. I'm like Bobby. I love me some Toppy. But the one thing that I just can't get over, I don't think Austin Reed's going to play for Western Kentucky. I think that's why it's the line moves so much. Most of their offense seems like they're in the transfer portal, like their entire line almost. Their backup QB, Austin Reed, might not play, so that leaves a guy, Turner Helton. I looked it up. 21 snaps is going to get the start. I see why the line moved. Give me Old Dominion. They are like they're probably one of the worst 6-6 teams to make the bowl games, but they are going to show up and just be average, and I think Western Kentucky's going to play significantly below that with they run like an air raid system with a third string quarterback that has disaster written all over it. So give me Old Dominion.
That's fair.
There's some interesting stuff on this menu at the famous toastery.
They combine everything: breakfast, brunch, and lunch.
Listen to this: stuffed French toast with raspberry, blueberry, peanut butter, banana, or strawberry and cream cheese stuffed into a French toast.
Oh, I would kind of like that. I think I would really like that.
The cream cheese and notice how Jameson sort of changed this. He brought that one up as this sounds like it'd be weird, and then we're all like, yeah,
I can find that.
You know me, I'm always down for an adventure. I'm not food averse.
This is true. You're much more adventurous either than I am. I don't know why I'm jumping at you for that one.
This dude's microwaving his hot dogs.
Okay, let's move on to our last game of this show. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Oh God,
Scooters. No!
Shout out to Scooters. This bowl finally found a good sponsor in Scooters. I guess they for a while they just didn't have one. They were just Frisco.
Yeah, it was generic. I believe it was added just because they had too many bowl eligible teams, and so they were like, we need a place that has a football field that we can play, and the Frisco Bowl started because there's there's so many football stadiums up in Frisco, whether it be a high school stadium, which is probably closer to a college stadium, whether it be the Star, whether it be any, there are so many football fields up in that region. I'm pretty sure
this is a soccer field.
Oh, they play it at Toyota,
yeah, home of FC Dallas, yeah.
So even another field. There's so many fields up there.
There you go. So many fields.
One of my talking points was if there was a pro team there, they would call it the Dallas team. So that's
I cannot stand FC Frisco. Like it frustrates me. Like it's so far up there. I already had to accept Arlington kinda as Dallas, but it's not really Dallas. I'm not accepting Frisco. Like it's it's
Noted,
Frisco.
noted Fort Worth resident gatekeeping Dallas. Love to see it.
I know,
Incredible.
but I like honestly. I'm like Arlington's closer to Fort Worth, but like the Cowboys are there, so you have to call them that. Texas Rangers makes sense. It's Texas. I just can't have any more championship parades in the parking lot. I just can't have that.
Yeah, it's so bad, the parades
It
in the
is.
parking lot. By the way, Timothy, yeah, we will have a show next year in the SEC. We'll talk Big 12. Yeah, stick around. We'll have a lot of really good off-season content as well. So just wanted to say that before we continued on. But yeah, Arlington, it's a soulless, crappy place. I don't know why they have had the parade there. Put it in Dallas. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get on to this game. It's a Marshall Thundering Herd, 6-6, 4-8 against the spread. They're taking on UTSA, the Roadrunners, 8-4, but 5-6-1 against the spread. Jeff Traylor once again staying in place, it seems. UTSA favored by 8.5. You can find this one Tuesday, December 19th, 8 p.m. Central on ESPN. Blake, kick us off here. Who do you like?
One of the easiest ones on the slate. It is all UTSA. Frank Harris in the final game of like an 8-year college career going out. This UTSA team was just different. They were different after kind of like their initial rough patch. They look good. Like they played Tulane hard. They didn't win, but they look really good. And Marshall fell victim to their coach. Their coach was like rumored for like every head coaching opportunity that could come up. Like he was like, he's doing so great at Marshall, like you should look at him. He was on all the boards and then immediately started sucking. He was taking in all that, probably calling his agent, oh, where can I go? Where can I go? Forgot to coach the actual games, and Marshall just fell off a cliff. Jeff Traylor, somebody hire this man. He's really good. He's a really good head coach. He was a guy that was advocating for the TCU job. He was a guy that I was advocating for the A&M job because I think he's so good in the state of Texas. I'm like, Mike Elko is a great hire, I think, for Texas A&M. Like, you got a good guy there, but God, Jeff Traylor is he's winning at UTSA. I don't care what conference it is. He put them on the map. Somebody hire this guy. He's so good. He's so good at his job. They're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him. It's gonna be a blowout. Give me UTSA.
I was victim of fading UTSA earlier this year because I wanted to make a stand for their rival, Texas State. And like I said, you can't do those things. That's just toxic. I'm picking UTSA. They're the better team. Give me UTSA. No toxicity here.
Yeah, this line has shifted pretty heavily. It's an 8.5 point line, which is a lot for a bowl. Shifted to 12.5 currently right now. So Roadrunners to me seem like at 8.5. Yeah, all over that. Jeff Traylor, but not only that, but short drive for Roadrunners. Meep. This is an easy one. I'm not going to waste y'all's time anymore by saying anything else. UTSA minus 8.5 is to play.
Yeah, obviously a much easier travel for UTSA coming just up from South Austin, I think is what that stands for in their name.
Right.
Marshall. So that was a joke. What's not a joke is I just now learned that Marshall is in fact not in Ohio. It's in West Virginia. The whole time they just give off sort of an Ohio vibe. So I just assumed, but they're not. They're from West Virginia. Weather potentially affecting them down in what some would call the Dallas area. So I'm going to have to go with UTSA. They have much better branding, which is how we're picking these. Bobby went with the orange. I personally like the blue background a little bit more. But it's Thunder-esque, and I have to go with that. So
well, if you pick the blue background, you would miss like his little quills and everything. It just wouldn't work.
It has a border around it. It's the one that ESPN used. There's a white border. I'm looking at it on ESPN right now.
I'm using a different PNG. Using a different PNG.
I know you are, and this is an important teaching point for the listeners and the viewers. See, Bobby in his chip that's in his brain kicked in, and he had to go with the orange. He's like, I support orange, so he went with this one. How is that? That's not a cold take that you use the orange.
Because
it's a cold take. I have a chip in my.
Use the orange.
It's a cold take.
You probably use America's brightest orange. That's probably the orange that you use. So
that is not even close to America's brightest orange. It's rather
no,
dusty.
wouldn't you?
It's rather dusty.
Keeping orange.
No. I can tell the difference.
You would, of course you would, Bobby. Of course you know the difference. You probably have, Bobby. What's the Pantone color of America's brightest orange? You probably know that.
He knows the hex code off the dome. Give me UTSA minus 8.5 though.
Oh geez. Okay. No, Timothy. I'm not a secret Texas fan. I'm not a secret fan of any team. In fact.
No.
Yeah. No.
That's what a secret fan of a team would say to try to mislead the listeners into thinking you're not a secret fan.
What person would do a podcast about their biggest rival for 6 years?
Exactly. It's the best. It's the best cover story.
Bobby, you're not helping
Why?
yourself.
For what reason would I do that?
Because you are secretly just infiltrating that OU sphere so you can eventually sabotage them for leaving OSU behind. Like,
That doesn't
you've
make
been
any
planted.
sense.
You're so deep. You're so deep in the cover, Bobby. You are so deep in it.
So, like, all those times when I was a kid, going
You
to
don't
those
even
OU
know.
games, still deep in.
Your activation phrase has not been said yet, so you don't know.
And thank God Bobby didn't live in OKC district because he was going to vote no for keeping OKC.
Oh God,
He
okay.
was.
No. That's that. Am I like a I don't know, undercover like Sonics like fan, like secret Seattleite?
We do have.
don't know.
Seattle Supersonics games.
I mean, I couldn't vote on that one, so I'm just saying. Yeah,
I need the photo of Sonic's man to come out one day,
Sonic
and it's
Bob.
just Bobby just in the full Thunderman gear in Sonic's colors.
Jeez, too much propaganda going on my own podcast, but whatever.
That's what somebody would say. Deep into cover. Deep.
$150, boys.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
again, $150 on the line in your Bowl Mania. So you gotta sign up before Saturday. Get those picks in with code MLADY, MLADY. Free entry. Just hop in. It's in the link right now. Go to it. All of y'all. I see y'all in the comments. Timothy, hop on in. Everybody. Parker, Whit or Michael. All of y'all. Caleb. What to see you trying to take my money? Lord King?
I know Ashley was in the comments early.
She could do it. Lord King Big Nuts, hop on in, man.
Jameson's gonna use Ashley's entry to do like the reverse of his to ensure whenever he bankrupts that somehow he gets the money. It's gonna be.
If you want any evidence that I don't tamper, look at Ashley's fantasy league that she has this year. This girl has set her lineup half the time. So
Ivy's goal.
Sarah had Joe Burrow on IR as their starting quarterback for like the last few weeks.
I know Dariel was
all
furious.
Guys and girls in our league. It's just horrible.
The girls' league it's a bit sloppy, but
I barely check I barely remember to check my own lineups to make sure people are, and it's more like an 11:55 type of thing. Like make sure the guys are playing.
I think there's a chance that the link just sends you right in and you don't need a password. So the whole you need to watch the show requirement might just be completely bunk. But
well.
Thanks for watching anyways. Anyways, yeah, $100 to the winner, and
Wait,
$50
what?
to second.
Oh, wow. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, $100 to winner, 50 for second. So, look, and again, we can win it too. If we win, we get the money. So sorry, just beat us. Be a ball knower. But yeah, that's how it goes for this year. But yeah, look, we'll reconvene. I believe next Wednesday. If that's good with everybody. The 20th. Sound good?
Yeah, we'll be here.
Sounds good to me.
Everyone good? Cool. So we'll do that to cover some amount of bowls. Probably the rest. We might have to just do the rest of them because of scheduling.
Oh God.
Like, seriously, when else could we do it for the rest of those bowls? We just kind of have to do them all.
And we kind of have to because they're like the really important ones. It's not like we can.
What are y'all thoughts on Wyoming
took-
Toledo on the 30th?
It took us an hour. It took us an hour to get through 9 picks. So we're gonna have to adjust. We're gonna have to make some adjustments to our time. We're gonna have to put the timer back on.
No, we're just gonna do the same thing. You know that.
No.
You know it. You've seen the March Madness special. You've witnessed it.
Dread it. Run from it. Pontificating still arrives. But anyways, looking forward to this first round of games. Should be a fun time. Looking forward to losing some money on this. But anyways, guys, any final words before we log on off? No? Okay, cool. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching the Weekend Spread Bowl picks. We'll be back soon. Do some more picks. They'll be a little bit more intriguing than these. I'll promise you that. Again, sign up for Bowl Mania. Password Milady if you even need it. I probably don't. It's in the description of both YouTube and the podcast. So try to win our $150. So cool. All right, for me, Jameson, Ty, and Boatin' Blake, this has been the Weekend Spread. We'll see you next time. Have a good one and good luck out there.